If you read up on the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case, you ask yourself, how did the situation escalate the way it did? And why is Blake Lively going so hard at Justin Baldoni? Because the reasons aren't justified. From what we're seeing, there has to be more to the story. And it could be a situation where you have to read in between the lines. And there has been theories on TikTok, you guys are messy. I knew we were all thinking it, but the way that Ryan loves her, it couldn't be true, right? I had a few people say, which means I'm not the only one. So I'm going to make a video about it. I think that maybe there was an affair going on and something with it went wrong. She seems like the jealous type now. Of course, this is all allegedly, because I don't know these people, but why else would a girl act like this, right? How on no fury like a woman's born. And she's going full baby mama crazy lady on his ass. She's not only ruining his movie, she's trying to ruin his entire reputation. Now, of course, trying is the key word, right? But I'm trying to think why else, right? Like she filed a complaint, but didn't necessarily say that it was sexual harassment. So what else is she trying to get out of it except for the rights to the next movie? But the crazy part is, why would she go so far if there wasn't an issue? And this may be reaching, and I'm okay with that, but some of the text exchanges between them did seem a little short, off-putting, like she was jealous of something. But I'm glad I'm not the only one that was thinking it. And even if you weren't thinking it, you got to admit, it's not super far-fetched, right? I'm going to break it down so you guys can see how intense this situation became. Because it's not just Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolde. The entire Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation has been trending for literal months, and I know for a fact there's nothing Justin regrets more than having Blake sign up to be the lead in this movie. If he would have known that Blake was going to do a hostile takeover, controlling every single bit of the movie, while also trying to tarnish his reputation in the process by painting him as if he wouldn't have believed that tale, because it sounds absolutely outrageous. But boy, was he in for a ride. The film It Ends With Us will literally end with someone's reputation in the gutter. Speaking of reputation, Blake has a decent reputation, or had a decent reputation. There's always been talks about her days on Gossip Girl. People have always labeled her as somewhat of a mean girl, considering the cast never outright spoke negatively about her. There's been a lot of speculation surrounding this narrative, particularly because of her rumored icy relationship with co-star Leon Nisa. There was an alleged tension on set, and the interviews with the cast didn't help either. I think I'm just brunette, because of the books, everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. Music Moment by Me Remember Savannah. It was the Another Promise, was I No Pet. Monkey Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits. And I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with the monkey. And then I got a few of them. I'm just kidding, come on, it was a joke, Lord, have mercy your wardrobe. That is important, very good. It's very important. This is wardrobe, this is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers, so I had to go and cash to wear it today now before. The It Ends With Us drama. A lot of people didn't take her interviews as disrespectful, but more so quirky and tone deaf. It was like she was trying to be funny without actually being funny, and for the most part it was easy to brush over coming from an actress like Blake, who starred as an actress, was basically handed to her. Blake Lively's family is deeply rooted in the entertainment industry. Her father was both an actor and director, while her mother worked as an actor and talent manager. Together they had 5 children, all of whom ended up pursuing careers in the industry. Although Blake eventually became an actress, acting wasn't something she was naturally drawn to as a child. She said in her 2006 interview with the radio Free Entertainment, I grew up on sets. My mother was a talent manager, always coaching kids for auditions, and my family was constantly rehearsing lines. I'd eat and sneak snacks from the craft services. Acting was such a big part of my daily life that I never felt the urge to do it myself. It honestly seemed like a nightmare, which makes this revelation from the View even more interesting. I was a cheerleader, I was in show choir, I was a class president, I was in a ton of different clubs, I was very, very involved in school. I grew up going to Disneyland like twice a week, except for there was a week, and my mom would take me out of school and take me to the Dis. You are one of the 100 influent people in America. I still feel like my dad paid Time magazine to make me feel good about myself. My parents had paid the show choir director to put me in the choir because I can't sing or dance to save my life. But he would lead in that choir. Her dad, Ernie Lively, plays her father in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. It's the most special thing you can ever imagine. It's the greatest home movie you could ever have for sure. I grew up watching him and going his auditions and coaching him, and I never wanted to act, so it was nice at least she was honest, but she definitely pointed out some privilege that she had, and that's something we're going to unravel with the It Ends With Us drama. First, we can't talk about her privilege without franchise is huge. Deadpool and Wolverine has been one of the few movies in 2024 that actually broke. Even the movie industry has not been making any money, like they've been losing hundreds of millions of dollars while spending hundreds of millions of dollars. Deadpool and Wolverine has made over $1.3 billion in worldwide, making it the highest grossing rated R film of all time, which in 2024 has become virtually impossible now. Beyond acting, Ryan has also co-founded Maximum Effort, a film production company and digital marketing agency responsible for producing and promoting several of his projects, including the Deadpool films, which shows how he's had successful marketing strategies that garner widespread attention and praise. So you can only imagine how much Hollywood and huge movie corporations value someone like Ryan Reynoldes, and that also includes his beloved wife, Blake Lively. When Blake signed on as a lead actress, the first thing she started doing was messing with the wardrobe, and the movie set photos were released during shooting, and many fans took to social media to voice their concerns, suggesting that the costumes didn't align with Lily's character as depicted in Colleen Hoover's novel Yo, I'm 40 Minutes. Into this movie, literally every outfit she's worn has pissed me off like I read the book. So seeing this is upsetting. Why did they let her do this? Please let me know if I'm the only one who thinks the stylist for it ends with this. Just really missed the mark on Lily Bloom. Like, did I read a different book? Because she would not wear this dress. And I don't really know what's going on with like the Cam Leopard situation. These middle two are actually what I picture her wearing. So I really like those, but like the other four, I have no clue what's going on. Some felt like the wardrobe choices were very unflattering and inconsistent with Lily's personality and background, and Blake's descriptions of Lily's style wasn't really fitting to the theme of the movie. There seems to be a theme among many movies that have a quirky or different character, and in order to convey that they feel the need to style them in such an extreme, over-the-top way, sometimes it actually works, but many times it just comes off as extremely unrealistic. It ends with this as a perfect example of this. Fashion is a tool of self-expression. It's used to express what's on the inside on the outside. So in a way, our clothes are almost like a second skin. They make sense, they feel right, they look right. And when looking at these outfits, they don't look like a second skin. But something that also just doesn't work is the fact that they seem so unrealistic, and it makes them and the character unbelievable. You're not going to see people walking around in outfits like this all the time. It also could just be a casting issue. These outfits might look fantastic on someone else, but on Blake Lively, it doesn't look like Lily Bloom. It looks like Blake Lively dress and unflattering clothes that don't match her personality. However, many fans of the book are saying that these outfits just don't match Lily's character in the book, which Blake has taken credit for. I love Lily's style. I think when you see the film, her style makes sense because she's a woman of multitudes, and storytelling to me, fashion and costume design is storytelling. Can I tell you my favorite, like take my breath away, favorite? Those boots, those are my boots. Those boots are so good. Those are my real life boots. A lot of it's my real life clothes, or my husband's clothes, or my girlfriend Gig's clothes. I was borrowing some weight. That's kind of amazing. So you have something of G's in the movie. Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new, which I want to think of the SC. I'm wearing her stuff all over. She always seeing the best of people, and that's something that can get her hurt as well. But she's also somebody who sees the biggest possibility, the biggest opportunity, something that's vibrant and new and alive and fresh. And you know, so seeing that in her fashion, seeing the new and the high, and seeing the utility and the more masculine and then the more feminine and high. I think that, like, you know, there's a practicality to her, but then there's also a celebration of life and flourishes and romance and love, where she wants to believe in, and you know, all things beautiful. That makes a lot of sense to me, and her feelings are clashing, yet they make sense when you look at her. You're like, oh, I understand that. And I also think that clothing is very, to me, I'm a hoarder, so it's deeply sentimental. So this is 100% her doing, going against the film's original concept for her wardrobe, but it was really the press run that caused all this open drama, because there were definitely a lot of issues behind the scenes, but none of the cast were vocal about it. It was really when Blake and Justin started doing press that the audience noticed that there was some issues. A very noticeable issue was Blake and her reluctancy to actually talk about the movie. The press run seemed very tone deaf on Blake's part. She was even promoting her own product lines. During the press run, she talked about the movie like it was a girly rom-com or a love story that helps empower women. A lot of survivors of generational trauma and domestic reviews are going to see this film. I'm curious, what is the message that you hope that they take away from you? I think that you are so much, and not to minimize it anyway, but you are so much more than just a survivor, or just a victim. Well, that is a thing, you are a person of multitudes, and what someone has done to you doesn't define you, you define you, and what you have in you, and what you're capable of, and what you have done and are doing and will do is so much bigger than anything anyone else can do to you. And I think that that feels like it is so empowering and rooting and grounding, and I hope that people see that, because this is a story that covers domestic violence, but it's not about domestic violence, it's about this woman. So you don't often see messy women in film. I feel like this is a film that's important to be made, because just as an actor, I am not often given the opportunity to tell the story of a woman that really experiences the entire spectrum of the female expert, or any human experience, like when you experience pain or trauma or darkness or sadness, that's your character. Or if you're light and levity and love and joy and hope, then that's your character. You don't often see a woman that gets to be so multifaceted, because you don't often see messy women in film. And so to be able to be a woman who's contradicting herself, but yet it makes complete sense, and seeing the messiness of the human experience, I think is a beautiful thing to see, because it makes people feel seen and not alone. And I know that's how I felt when I read Lily. This movie is about DV, and Blake's answers everything except the true concept of the movie, which fans thought was very weird, whereas Justin openly talked about how the movie touched on DV and was more empathetic to the sensitivity of the movie. I think that they are absolutely entitled to that opinion, and it makes perfect sense as to why they would feel that way. I mean, look, we live in a culture where unfortunately too many things are glorified, and we are fighting for attention. We're in an attention economy, and we're in a clickbait world, and everybody is trying to figure out how to gather attention. Look at the news cycle, it's everywhere around us, and so it makes perfect sense that people would feel that way. Also, if anybody has had that real life experience, I can imagine how hard it would be to imagine their experience being in a romance novel to them. I would just offer that we were very intentional in the making of this movie, but notice how none of the press actually included Justin with his castmates. It's either Blake or her co-stars, but not Blake with her leading co-star, which is pretty weird. Blake has the upper hand because she's the bigger star, but Justin has been working on this movie since 2019. He gained the rights to the movie and was directing and producing, but he wasn't included in the cast press tours. There were claims that the studio prohibited her from speaking about the DV storyline, which honestly doesn't even make sense, since the whole concept of the movie is about DV. If that's true, then that's very stupid. So comparing the way Justin promoted versus Blake, it's clear why fans thought there was issues within the movie so naturally, since Blake already had a mean girl narrative around her. The internet does what it always does, they look for content. And unfortunately for Blake, there's enough content surrounding her that doesn't put her in the best light. There is literally hours of video compilations of Blake being a bully. These videos have millions upon millions of views, which is directly tied to Blake's behavior. One of the videos absolutely put a pin directly on how mean people think she really is. There is this interview that a journalist posted of Blake from 2016. Now, the interview never saw the light of day until a few months ago, because the journalist felt like Blake's behavior is still tied to the way Blake treated her years ago. So she decided to do an exposing of her own. First of all, congrats on your little bump. Congrats on your little bump. What about my Ben B fan? I love most of his movies.